Oh, yeah, nah, this is Rousey's Wrexham Roundup. She'll be right, mate. G'day and welcome to another week of Rousey's Wrexham Roundup. I'm your boy Rousey. That over there is my co-host Simon. Looking very
G'day.
red, looking very dapper. Mate, how are you?
Got the good, good. Looking forward to the Southampton. They're almost back. They're ready. They're good to go. And oh,
Can you feel it in those nads? I tell you. Oh, mate, I'm excited. I am so excited for this
yeah,
season to start. Um, we've got a big episode today. Thank you to you as well. Yeah, this is a
quite all
new one
right.
because I didn't actually have to organize anything. I was like, this is great. I can get used to this. But we had a few games happen, so we're going to talk about those with our guest. But obviously we played a FC Groningen, who, for those who don't know, they're an Eredivisie side, which I think that's Netherlands top flight. So they play
Did
the
they
likes of
just get?
Ajax.
Did they just get relegated from the top flight?
I
Was
have
my
no idea.
understanding. But
I don't really
anyway,
follow that league.
no.
Uh, I, I mean, there's so many leagues to follow and try and get your head around these days. It's just mental. So I don't really know a whole lot about them, but boy, they looked good, and they looked
Mm.
like a really good side. And I think probably maybe the standard where we've got to be at this year or this season. Would that be a fair call, do you reckon?
Yeah, they looked a better team, didn't they? We probably had some slightly better players, but they had the better teamwork,
Some
and
very
that'll come.
soft goals, man. We let in some very
Oh,
soft goals.
I thought Parky's statements after the match were very telling, so I wouldn't be surprised. Here's my pick to see Danny Ward start next week.
Mm.
I think, yeah, and of course, the new lad Cody, I think he'll be centre back with Brunt, Max, and Ward behind him.
But I mean, how many? Maybe one of those goals, I think, a
I
Conquo
think
could
to
definitely have stopped or should have stopped.
not just stopped his voice. I think he should have called out to Scar. You got the ball. There's no one near you. You don't need to do what you're going to do with the ball. And I think Wardy's going to be a bit more vocal, and I think that might be what Parky was looking for at the back. A little bit
Mm.
more command from the keeper.
It's an interesting one. Who do we see
We shall see.
start? Will it be Danny Ward or will it be Arthur Okonkwo? That's going to be the question of the episode.
Comment below.
Let us,
Burton.
yeah, do what
Burton
Simon
with the late
says.
run.
Do what Simon says. Comment down below. Simon says comment down below. Simon says get your dick out. Um,
No, did not say that.
yeah, I was just like, I mean, some of those are soft, and
The dicks
Arthur's
that are coming
probably
out, or the
got
oh
to do something. Got to do
yeah,
something. With the likes of Danny Ward breathing down your neck, you want to be able to get back to that form that you were on previously. So we'll see what happens there. But we teased a guest, Simon.
yeah.
I think we should get her on. What do you think?
Hit the
Or should we
button.
just end the show here and be like, nah, right, we're done. We'll
In
just
the
have
show.
our own little private chat with the guest.
Hit the button.
All right, all right. Well, let's hit the button. Let's get our guest on, guys. I'm proud to announce that we've got a really good one today. Mia Roberts is coming on. Who guessed it? Who let in the comments down below? Who guessed it last week? I know someone cottoned on to something that they reckon they knew. So let us enjoy this interview with Mia Roberts after the break. Oh, yeah, nah, this is Rousey's Wrexham Roundup. She'll be right, mate. Well, last week we teased a special guest, and boy, did we get one. We hooked a sinker here. I tell you what, Mia Roberts. I've had her dad on before, but now I get the one, the only Mia, mate. Oh, I'm so stoked to have you on this show. I've been wanting you on this show for like years now. So,
Oh, no, thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I really, really appreciate you asking. So yeah, excited for a good little chat.
oh, everybody loves a good chin wag. Me and Simon here, we're going to fire a few questions at you. We'll see how you go. But I tell you what, let's start with last night's game. Let's get this out of the way. Obviously,
Even
the
before the
boys.
game, Old Trafford. How did you wangle Old Trafford?
Well, yeah, a bit of a weird one, really. So obviously we've known for a couple of weeks that the last preseason game was going to be at Groningen, um, and obviously the sort of idea initially was that we were going to go out, and it was meant to be me, Mark, and Andy. We were all going to jump on the plane and do it from the ground itself. But as with a few other things, obviously fans couldn't go because of Dutch police, and then I think there was a bit of a not lack of communication, but there was just a bit of a struggle in terms of the obviously production of us going out there and actually taking a commentary stuff and that. So it was just decided that it'd be better to do it from home, which again was fine. I was just happy to be asked to do it. But I've never commentated on a game and not actually been in the ground that a game's being played, so it was all a bit strange. But then, yeah, just a few days ago, we got told we were going to be doing it from the Old Trafford cricket ground, which was, I mean, I'm not a huge cricket fan. I've never really been into it, but I mean, I knew the ground obviously because of its fame and because I spend a lot of time in Manchester. So yeah, it was really cool. We were in the press box that the BBC are usually in. So it was all so proper. Like it was very weird. Sort of every time you put your head up, sort of to look out, there was nothing going on because that's what you normally, I'm not normally just looking at a screen. But no, it was super cool and yeah, really cool experience and nice as well to get a game in on comms before the real thing next week because yeah, sometimes you have to get yourself back into things a little bit slowly. So
Pre-season.
so that was nice. Yeah, yeah. Pre-season for the commentators.
This is the thing that
It's
I've got to get used to actually, because um, obviously this season with Wrexham being in the championship, so in Australia they're no longer going to get iFollow because it's now on. They go with the Sky Sports stuff on beIN Sports,
mm,
so
Mm.
all the games are now on beIN Sports, which is a platform I hate. And but now we're gonna have to deal with some dry, drab, bloody
ah,
commentator when
no,
and I
Rousey, you got to
and
go
you
old
know,
school, mate. Old
huh?
school. They'll be on iFollow. We'll be on voice commentary only. We can get that. So it's going to be back to National League days of having the vision through one, and Mia and the team on the iFollow on the
You know
mobile.
what? We might have to do that, hey, and sync it up
Yeah.
because I tell you what, the Sky Sports commentary ain't good.
Oh,
It's not good. But Mia, Mark, Andy, that team was just so good last season, and the yeah, I'm gonna miss having to do that. But now you just brought that up, Simon. I think I might have to actually do it.
I've gone both. I've gone for both the both subs. So I'm forking out for the BN and the iFollow. 'Cause I definitely want to get the Wrexham call,
Oh, thank you.
best in the business. So yeah, happy to see it. And how did you feel last night went? I mean, for you and for the team.
It's a weird one, isn't it? I think, it's always been the case where you can't read too much into preseason. We would have said that anyway, even if we won the game 3-1 or whatever, which, is a bit ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. I think, listen, we were up against a decent side. Players, listen, I don't think that's the 11 that's going to start next week.
No.
I might be proven wrong there, but I don't think it will be. I think yesterday was a really good opportunity to just get 90 in the legs. And I think listening to some of Phil Parkinson's interviews that he's done over the last few weeks, particularly the one he did on Friday before Groningen, of him still sort of saying this squad isn't ready, and I think that's quite a brave thing to do as a manager, to still be saying that a week away from the start of the season. But I think he's right. I don't think it is ready, and it doesn't necessarily need to be ready for that first game because it's so hard to be able to do that, and I think you sort of sometimes in sort of EFL can give yourself sort of month of August and go, right, let's just make sure we're 100% there at the start of September. But the problem is, obviously, if you get off to a bad start immediately, then you've got a lot of eyes on you, and there's going to be so much pressure on, obviously, Phil Parkinson this year. But yeah, I think there were lots of positives to take from yesterday. I thought Josh Windass did really well. I thought Kakache looked bright. Lewis O'Brien, probably the brightest out of all of them. Absolutely got some burners. I can't say I've watched too much of a lot of the new boys coming in, but Lewis O'Brien, yeah, I think he's going to be straight in that 11.
Yeah.
And Josh Windass was the one I did pick out, saying he's the one I was most excited about. But now I'm going, ooh, Lewis O'Brien maybe maybe might have just nipped ahead of him in terms of his speed anyway. But yeah, positives to take. And I think now we've just got to go, right, let's just see what happens on Saturday against Southampton. That's for me is a great opening test.
Yeah,
And no more injuries.
I totally agree with that. And I think seeing those new boys come into play and seeing what Parky is trying to accomplish from this side. I mean, it's almost as if it's great to you kind of calm me down a bit, because my next question to follow on would have been, well, how ready can we get them in a week?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I think set plays are going to be a little bit weaker because the boys are still learning where everyone is and all that sort of stuff. But I tell you what, the pace that we were running at yesterday, the accuracy of the passing is a lot better.
Yeah.
Libby Kakache on the left hand side just works. Lewis O'Brien, yeah, he stood out to me. He looked really, really good. And yeah, and then obviously that little bit of a screamer from Josh Windass.
Nice pass
just
from Dobbo too,
Ooh.
to get it to him. It was a good pass in. So hopefully it plays for Dobbo in the team.
Yeah, but I'm excited by where this team is going, and I think we've come to the realization over the last week or so since they've come back from the Australia tour, Australia New Zealand tour. Can't forget our New Zealand brothers.
Cheap shaggers.
But yeah, they since they come back, it's like this whole team has just completely changed, and I'm even like one of my favorite of all time at the moment is Elliot Lee, and everyone knows that. I make no bones about that. My fans and followers know that I love Elliot Lee. But where does he get into this side?
Yeah.
It's like it's starting to look like a complete facelift, a whole new starting 11. We're only probably going to see maybe
Max
Cleworth
and
and Lewis Brunt.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Let me just get to pick up my phone. It's
this is
crazy.
why you do pre-season. This is why you do.
No, I said this to Mark yesterday. I feel like there's just so many of these sort of key players that we've just looked at and sort of relied on over the past, 2-3 seasons now, that suddenly you go, well, actually, I don't know if I can get them in that 11, which is just crazy because of what they've done. And but that's the mad thing about football, look at Paul Mullin is the perfect example of that. If you said, 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago, kind of, that he would not be at the club. I know he's only on loan, but I think people would have sort of gone, oh yeah, whatever, like, yeah, do me a favor. But that's just the reality of it, and it's sad, and it is, but it just, life goes on, and we've got to be able to compete. So
you're part of that. Like, we being Antipodeans, we don't really have the pro role. Being a player in that, how used to it are the players? Like, do you just come to expect and accept that's what happens?
I think so. I think, growing up in football, I think you always know from a youngster that, well, not from too young, because you just think you're going to be a footballer and that's it. But you probably get to a certain point, maybe not everyone, maybe some people are a bit blinded by the lights, if you like. But I think I've always had that sort of realistic view that, it's not always necessarily going to go my way, or, I'm not necessarily good enough to be playing here and playing there, because that's just it. You're realistic. It's like anything. I know I'm not a good enough singer to go perform at, the Grammys or whatever.
Oh, I was going to ask you to sing as well.
That was the
You
next
don't want
question
that.
gone.
You do not want that. You really don't. But yeah, I mean, as a player, I think obviously you've got to have that confidence in yourself, and you've got to back yourself. That's what I always tried to do. But sometimes it gets to a point where maybe you just feel like, what, I've reached my limit. And it's also a game of opinions as well. Sometimes you can, like, I might be in that championship squad going, what, I deserve to be here. But if Phil Parkinson thinks, I don't think he's the one for me, or whoever, then you're out of it. But then you can go to another club, and you find a manager or a coach or whatever, and they can go, what, you are good enough. So it's really one of them. It's so difficult as a player to make sure you keep in that confidence in yourself. But I think the boys that obviously have been assembled in the current Wrexham squad, they've got so much momentum behind them. And even if they came in a few years ago in the National League thinking, right, I can get to League Two, I think now if they're still there, they're going to be thinking, what, I've worked hard to get to this point. I'm going to prove a lot of people wrong, and I think that should be the mentality.
Yeah.
I think
Wow.
Lee's one of the ones who is so versatile that he can cover 2 or 3 positions, and so he probably makes the 25. I don't think he makes it starting 11, but he should make the bench in the 25.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think that's something that's so important nowadays in football, is that versatility, and the ability to play multiple positions. Me and Mark spoke about Tom O'Connor yesterday as another example, who's someone who, again, probably people forget how much he's done over the past few seasons at times because other names get chucked in ahead of him. But again, a left footer, someone who can play at the back, in the back three, can also go into that midfield, could probably also do a job as wing back, even though he's probably one that lower down in that capacity. But again, it's like, well, he's probably not in your starting 11, but he's still got to be involved. He still has to be involved because he's such a good squad player, and his quality is very good. And he's still relatively very young as well. That's another thing.
And I think I heard Mark say he started 36 last season, which I hadn't realised it was that
Yeah,
many, so he's still got to be a part, I would have thought.
yeah, I think so.
What about Andy Cannon, though?
Yeah, so, it's another one, isn't it? I mean, the list just goes on. You just sort of forget. Especially, I mean, it's so hard when players sort of disappear for a long periods with a long-term injury, that they do sort of just go to the back of your mind.
Yeah.
But he's someone who came in and was a bit of a difference maker, I thought, and a player that was sort of different to what we had already in that category, in terms of midfielder. And that felt like a really big blow last year. I remember the exact moment when he got injured, and just feeling that was a big loss. I just always felt like he was someone, whether he started, whether he came off the bench, he just offered something else. He can get goals from midfield. I know Ollie Rathbone obviously did that a lot last year as well, but I just thought he was sort of another sort of positive for us in that department. But yeah, it's another one that you go, oh, if he gets back fit, does he actually get back in? Because you just don't know, especially with the bodies that we've brought in this summer.
You're excited, though, I can tell. I mean, I think we all
I
are.
know.
I mean, to be in the championship, to be a
Mm.
championship football team. I mean, you're seeing like the likes of Jake Bickerstaff when they announced his loan over to Cheltenham, I think it was. Um, and they put
Mm.
up on their thing from championship side Wrexham. You're just like, oh, that
That's
sounds
us.
good. But on that, the commentary, is this something that you see yourself doing long term? Because you have a really good knack for it. Like your commentary is top notch. Like
Oh,
I could
thank
see
you.
you commentating like the women's games, even the men's games, like in the Premier League and the Championship and all that. I can see you doing that for an actual
Oh,
legitimate
thank you.
like Sky
No,
Sport and
that's
things.
that's really really kind.
Actually, please, can you do it? Because the guy that's here at the moment really sucks.
No, honestly, that's really kind of you to say that. And no, I've said it a few times. It was never the plan. Like I never sort of left Wrexham, or even before when I was playing for Wrexham, was never playing and was looking up to the gantry going, "Oh, one day I'll be there." It was never anything like that. At uni, I'm on a business degree. At my uni, they actually do media degrees. So, if that sort of shows again, if I wanted to go down that route, I probably would have done a media degree. Um, but no, it's literally just something that obviously I've always loved talking about football because I'm so passionate about it. It's one of my favorite things in the world. So I genuinely, I do that quite a lot anyway. But in a sort of professional capacity, it really wasn't the plan. And thankfully I've started it. I started it firstly with Mark, just in a voluntary basis when I could, for the women's games on Sundays, which would have been, I think, 2 years ago now. And yeah, got some really good comments from people, which was obviously really kind of them. And then last summer, got a message from some of the media guys at the club saying, listen, we think you're good enough to do some of the men's stuff. We've got Andy Morrell coming in to do it. We're starting a new Matchday Live show. We want to trial it out, and if it's good, then we'll see what happens. And that sort of went from there, and here we are now. It's just sort of spiraled a bit, but I'm not complaining. I absolutely love it. It's brilliant. Who knows if it's going to be a long-term thing? I don't know, but it works really well for me at the moment. I'm super busy. Obviously, when uni starts again, I'm quite a lot of travel, quite a lot of stuff going on, but I love it. I always say, like, I'd be at the racecourse anyway, just on the opposite side in the Malta Road stand. So it doesn't really change much for me. I just means I do a bit more prep on opposition in the week.
So you didn't commentate yourself growing up. Here comes Mia with the ball. Look, he put it in the back of the net. She scored. Ah! That was never going on in your head.
Yeah, maybe a bit of that, but nothing too extreme to the point where I thought it would be my job. So just generic Martin Tyler phrases in the back garden. But no, it's crazy, and I've done it for a full season now, and I look back and I still can't believe I've actually done it. I mean, that was one of the sort of crazy moments, a few months or weeks ago when the documentary came out, and just now and again you'd hear your voice on the highlights. And it happened at the when they did the like end of season awards thing I think it was the day after the last game of the season, and we did a little bit on stage for Matchday Live. And then after, when they were doing the players awards, and they were showing every time they did the awards, say for goal of the season, they'd obviously show the goals, and they showed them quite a lot. But every time, obviously, it had our commentary on, and it was just bizarre because sometimes you're doing the commentary, but it's just sort of feels like I'm just talking to Mark and Andy, as if when you watch a game generally, obviously you're talking to the people next to you. So then when people actually message you after the thing, or later on in the week, or see you or whatever, and say, "Oh, I really liked what you said," and you're like, "Oh my God, you actually heard." It's quite bizarre. I don't really overthink it too much, but no, like I say, I love it, and it's a real privilege, and I'm so grateful for the club for putting that faith in me, because I don't think that was an easy thing to do for someone so inexperienced. But no, it's been super fun, and yeah, hopefully another successful one this year.
Let's hope. Let's hope, because I keep the best commentary, especially, and I think I would dare say the day must have been a blur for you, was when Wrexham got promoted to the championship against Charlton,
Mm.
and it was a 3-0 absolute smashing. Um, that must have been a whirlwind of a day. Like, if that was me, that whole day would just blur together.
Yeah.
Um, like, you wouldn't, but you were on fire on that commentary, especially with that Sam Smith call. And I love the way that you sort of explained what was going on around you, Garant in front of you, just going nuts. And
Do you know what? I genuinely forgot I said about Geraint in front of me, and it was only when I heard it on the doc that I remembered. And I'm so glad I said it, because he got the Lifetime Achievement Award that season, at the end of the season, which has been deserving for so long. That man deserves every plaudit he should ever get. And yeah, I'm so glad I said it, because like you say, I'm just saying what I see, and that's what, honestly, he's quite Like if you ever meet Geraint, he's quite low key, you know, quite calm, and but honestly, I've never seen a man go so mental in my life. The way his face was just doing every expression I've ever seen, because obviously it was that Sam Smith goal where he's just produced a moment of magic. And yeah, I'm so glad I've said it, because I feel like that's now part of that goal, and that's something now. Every time I think of that goal, I'll think of obviously the moment of Sam Smith, you know, a scissor kick or whatever, but I'll also think of Geraint Parry in front of me going absolutely berserk. So that's a great sort of thing with it. I think we have a lot of laughs in with it as well. I don't think we take it too seriously, because I think if you do, I think that comes across, and I think people want to hear sometimes. Obviously, we've got to be real and be professional, but you've got to enjoy it as well, because then I think that allows the listeners to. So yeah, that's what we try and do.
I think that match and the Blackpool one the week before, where you were sitting with the away crowd, were just superb vision and commentary. It really was made the season for me. Those two, my favourite matches, my favourite calls of the season. So did a top job. So what's it going to be like going away to the championship grounds, to the new ones? Are you going to be stuck behind glass and
all these
away, locked
nice
away,
boxes with food and grazers and just all you can drink? You'll just be on an absolute fella.
I know it's dangerous, isn't it? Because I've actually been trying to get a bit fitter this summer, and then I'm going to go back to it and back on the commentator's diet of hot dogs and pies, and put it all back on again. But no, it should be fun. To be fair, some of the stadiums, it just depends. Like, sometimes you go to one thinking, oh, this is a big club, big stadium, but the stadium hasn't been touched since the 90s, and you're in a tiny press box, all squeezed together. So they vary, but I love that. That's one of my favorite bits about it. Seeing all these different press boxes, looking where Sky is sat, looking where whoever else is sat, because sometimes you get some ex-player pundits in there, so that's really cool. And like, some of the grounds have really cool press areas where you can go in, and it's obviously where after players, managers come and do their interviews, and obviously the food as well. That's another big thing. But yeah, there's obviously quite a few new grounds that we'll be ticking off this year. We did Sheffield United last year, obviously in the cup, and they did like a full roast dinner, like proper the full gong, and it was like I think we played them on like a Tuesday night, and obviously it was a bit of a drive down. I think I actually went with Geraint that night. And we got there, and I was thinking, and it was one of the first ones I'd actually co-commentated on. And we got there, and I just thought, oh wow, this is the life. Like, is this what you guys are so used to? But it was apparent that was not always the case. Some of the other League One clubs, you were lucky to get a pie and stuff, but still, all very nice and always a bonus. But yeah, me and Mark did speak about this yesterday as well. We are excited to see some of the new food selections and press areas, and hopefully we've got a bit of room in some of them.
Oh yeah, I'm told the press box at Coventry Building Society Arena at the Coventry ground is actually pretty top notch. So
yeah,
I want to know all about that in the future. That when you go there, I want to know what it's like.
Well, it's Southampton first. I'm expecting a lot from Southampton and
Southampton.
Leicester. Obviously, ex-Premier League. I'm thinking surely they had to meet a certain standard, but who knows? Who knows?
Give us Mia's hot take. Give us Mia's hot take. I want to know how you think we're going to do this season.
Oh, it's such a difficult question, though, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's really hard. I mean, even last year, I was one of the ones, being quite safe and saying, oh, it'd be great if we could sort of touch the playoffs, not necessarily get there, but if we were close. And then obviously the season gets going, and I'm suddenly thinking, oh my God, I need to eat my words a bit here and kind of go for it a bit more. And obviously we did so well, but yeah, this year I think it's still so obviously early, because things haven't kicked off yet. But I think if we can get a couple more bodies in, a couple more signings, then I think we've got a real good opportunity to not necessarily, obviously go up again. I think that's asking a hell of a lot. I really do. I think, again, I think people can underestimate the step up. Well, you listen, it might, and again, documentary people use this clip. Tell me I was wrong, please. But yeah, I think it's just a hell of a step up. I really do, and not just in terms of quality, but in terms of experience. I think that was something I was looking at the end of last season when we got promoted. I was obviously enjoying the promotion, but also had a little side eye on the squad, going, right, how many of these players have played in the Championship? And there wasn't too many. And if they had been, it wasn't necessarily for long. It was for like a season. They might have got relegated, so it was sort of like, oh, negative memories sort of thing. But no, listen, I think you get a few more players in who've had that experience. Then I think we can absolutely go for something again really special. And I don't think necessarily getting promoted again means that's not necessarily a special thing. I think if you finish above 10th, I think that's really, really special, and that's a super achievement. So
above 10th
yeah,
and above Swansea.
that would be
Yes.
nice. Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be
To be
a
fair,
record finish. That would
yeah,
be a record for
absolutely.
Wrexham. So yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I was saying this to Mark yesterday, that there's a number of them Championship sides who've made some really good signings. So it's not just us doing it. It's like the other clubs are as well. So we've got to remember that. And like I say, that experience. There's clubs in there who've been in the Championship for years on years on years, and they just know it. They just know it like the back of their hand. They know where they get to a certain point, and that's what they do. But saying that, I think this team has something to prove. And when I say this team, I think Phil Parkinson. I think I spoke to him at the start of last season when I was saying, oh, I'm not sure. And he actually came into my dad's bar, into the Vault 33. And it's the one time I've worked on the bar and Phil Parkinson came in. I was like, typical. But anyway, I had to take his drinks over or whatever, and then just got chatting. And I tell you what, he was so determined. He basically convinced me that we were going to win it all, because he just spoke and he was so sure that, what, we can do it. Why the hell not? And I think he'll be so on it this season, because so many times people have written him off. People have said he's not Championship level. He hasn't quite done it at that point. And yeah, I think he'll have something up him this year to sort of go, you know what, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to prove you wrong. I've built something really special here. And I used the word before, but that momentum that we've picked up over the last few seasons, that's invaluable. And not many teams have that. So yeah, there's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes there.
Well,
but yeah.
On the reverse of that, does Southampton have a bad momentum after what the second worst Premier League season in the history of ever?
Possible.
Does that follow through to the next season as well?
Yeah, I think it does. And listen, I think both sort of terms of momentum can go both ways. In terms of that Wrexham having the momentum from being successful, that can also go the other way, and they can go, oh well, we've done so well last few seasons, this we've already achieved so much, we don't, and I don't think that's going to happen, because I don't think Phil Parkinson would allow that. But in the other sense, in Southampton's case, they've obviously fallen one level. They could also go the other way and go, right, no, let's pick ourselves up and let's go again. Let's prove them wrong, that whole classic sort of statement. But I mean, you saw last year, Luton came down from the Premier League and then went down again. So it's such a slippery slope, that sort of when you get into a losing streak. But I think Southampton's been built probably a bit stronger with those foundations, in terms of going up and then going down again. So I saw Aaron Ramsdale left to go to Newcastle just a few days ago, I think. So that's quite a big blow. I think they probably were expecting him to leave, but quite close to the start of the season, so I'm not sure. I haven't done my prep on them yet, so that'll be this week's job to look at them a bit more. But no, I think they're super strong. They've obviously got a really good academy in place as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because it's not that often. I know recently there's been very similar teams going up and down from the Premier League, but it's not that often that they go straight back up and sort of dominate the league and all that. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think there's definitely some of the games, obviously Leicester and Ipswich as well, that you're sort of highlighting, going, that'll be a real test. But yeah, super excited for it. Early kickoff. I know the fans will be loud, and I'm not sure if it has sold out yet, but I think the capacity we've been given is a lot. So yeah, it should be a really good one.
The interesting thing, actually, one of these days I need to do a deep dive into Luton Town, because they've had obviously a really interesting rise through the league, similar to what Wrexham are doing, but obviously Wrexham doing it in a much better, much quicker way. But they get to the top flight, they fall back down, and then they fall back down again. And I don't know if you saw last night for us, against Wimbledon, they only just scraped
Mm,
by
yeah.
against Wimbledon in League One. Like, what's happened there? What do you think's happened there?
It's hard to say, and that's sort of the sort of magic of football, as cringe as that sounds. But you can go from being absolutely the top in terms of at the Premier League to suddenly back in League One scraping a win against Wimbledon. No offense to Wimbledon, great club. Um,
They could use a
but
new centre
that's
forward, I think. We may have
yeah,
one. We may have a spare we can pass on.
yeah, that's very true. But no, in Luton's case, I think that's an example of, like I say, not having certain foundations in place and going up that little bit too quick. Especially again when you look at that step between Championship and Premier League, the gulf is just it's just ridiculous. If you're looking maybe not necessarily straight up, but from from winning the Championship to then maybe I don't know 16th in the Premier League, it's so hard to get up and stay up. Um, but yeah, I think that's what Wrexham now in this phase in the Championship. I think that's why we do need to build and make sure we've got the right things in place to make sure if we do go up again, that we've got things in order, that even if we then come straight back down, which obviously you wouldn't want to happen, but you never know, that we then don't continue that trend, because that's obviously what you really want to desperately avoid.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't want to see us go down that path, and I
Back
don't
to
think we
back to
will.
back relegations.
Yeah, yeah, go back to
Ooh,
back to back to back all the way to Premier League, and back to back to back to back to back all the way back down again.
Get that on a t-shirt.
it'll
Like we
make good
just,
telly.
yeah, I probably would, just went and dipped a toe in the water, said, "Nah, not for us. Fucking see you later." Oh dear, dear. So bringing it over to yourself, I mean, you moved on from playing with Rex and when they were in the semi pro leagues.
Mm,
And now you're playing for, and get this right, Clandid now.
correct. That's who I'm repping today.
Hey,
Yeah.
bagging away goals for them. How was the change? How are
Well,
you enjoying football life these days?
yeah, to be honest, it was obviously a really difficult time getting released. That's not something I make any bones about, because I think, it's so important to talk about it, because I think, if you hide something like that, I think it becomes a bit of a trend that people don't talk about it. And, sadly, there's been cases where people have done that, and, it's had the most horrendous and horrific of outcomes. So, it's something I talk about quite, not proudly, obviously, but, I'm happy to talk about it and be quite open and honest, because like I say, it is so important to have those conversations, that not just of the good times but also the bad. And yeah, it was super difficult. Obviously that Wrexham is my club. I've always made that well known. And yeah, to basically be so close to what you'd worked for the past 2 seasons, and just miss it at that final, literally a few weeks before, was really tough. And then obviously, to as much as you were so happy then for your other mates, the other girls, obviously to then go and do it, you were then watching from the sidelines going, "Oh my god, I was so almost there." But thankfully, like I've said a number of times, I've got great people around me that picked me up and went, "Well, this isn't going to be the end of you. You're going to go again." And yeah, that's what I did. Started uni in that September and moved to Manchester, and then was sort of playing a bit of football with uni, but was missing that league competitiveness. Really missed that. That's something I've done now. For since I was younger, and just it was like something was missing. I was just missing that Sunday morning, wake up and go to a muddy pitch in Rose or wherever. And yes, it was just lacking. So I just made it known to a few people that I wanted to get back into it. And then in January, got approached by one of the managers at Llandudno, and he just said, "Listen, come on down. I think you'd fit in well." So I did, and then yeah, got signed pretty much the next week, and went from there. Really, we had a really good first season. To be fair to the girls, I mean, I hadn't played most of it at that point, obviously, but they'd got us in a really good position, and we won the league. And and that was really great for me because obviously added to a few of the medals I'd had with Wrexham, so I was pretty buzzing with that. And then sadly we lost the playoff, but again it was another great experience to be playing that football again. And we lost the playoff obviously to Britain Ferry, who've gone on to do brilliant things. So we sort of look back at that now and go, well, they were meant to win that game. We couldn't do much about it. They were built, like I said earlier, they had more foundation and more planning and prep to go into the Adran Prem. So fair play to them. They were very good, but we competed with them. So at the same time, we took a bit of confidence from that game, and went, you know what, that's the level. Okay, let's try and get there. And sadly, last season there was a few hiccups. We lost when the manager left and lost a number of players. So it was a bit of a difficult one, and finished where we didn't want to finish. But still were able to bring in some of the younger girls, so that able to give them experience. So hopefully that pays itself back this
Sorry.
season.
It's
all right.
On my leg.
That might be the most Australian sentence I've ever heard. Oh my god.
Do you want me to kill it? My wife's always like, take it outside. Like, you call me to get the spider, it's not going outside.
No, I've got a new friend now. He's on the wall. I kicked him onto the wall, and now he's just sitting there on my soundproof pads. And he's sorry.
That is crazy. No. Please always interrupt me if there's a spider.
Like, what the hell is that? And I just got this it's about probably maybe
crocodile
the size of
like
2 inches just on the wall now.
Oh my god.
Good old huntsman, they're friendly.
They killed they killed the other spiders for you, so they're the good ones. So yeah.
Wow.
So I gotta ask hypothetically, right? So Clendon now, say they get to the level that Wrexham women's team are at. You're going into the Adran Premier League. Wrexham all of a sudden turn around with their new women's coach, by the way, and say, Mia, put on the red shirt. What will happen?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think my answer to that would be, we've got to get to that point first. I've probably got to do a bit more training, but it's, you never know. And that's like I said it when I left Wrexham, that you never know what could happen in the future. I might play for him again one day. I just don't know. You don't know how things are going to turn. At that point, I didn't realize I'd also end up working for him in a commentary capacity. So what I mean, it's ridiculous how things can change. But I'm really enjoying my time at Llandudno. It's a great group, and that's something that was so important to me, that I started enjoying my football again. Because particularly in those last few weeks at Wrexham, when I was doing pre-season with them and wasn't sure if I was getting a contract, it was just I just wasn't enjoying it at all. It was just so intense. I just had so much pressure on myself, because I didn't know what was happening, and I just sort of fell out of love with it and was like, oh, I can't, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I can't do that. And then I've gone into Llandudno, which is a completely different sort of mindset and whatever, and surrounding, and yeah, it's just brilliant. And it really, it's one of the best decisions I've probably made.
I can only hope that the club has learnt from the way they handled that situation with you, because I hated when I saw that come up, and you were one of my favorite players on the women's team too.
Thank you.
And I used to get a kick out of watching you guys play all the time, and the way you guys would play it's just as inspiring as the men. So to hear what happened to you and that the way you found out, I mean, it's on the documentary. Everyone knows about it now, but I just hope the club's learned from that and doesn't operate that way again, because that it's not acceptable.
Unnecessarily harsh, and when it needn't be. Do you think being up in the gantry is helping your football? Are you seeing things from above and commentating on things that you don't see when you're at ground level and involved in it? And will that get you into management?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, firstly, when I was a bit younger, I thought that's probably the route I'd go down in terms of coaching and possibly managing. Now I've seen it a lot more, and I'm like, I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it. I love football. I describe myself as being obsessed with it, but to be that level of obsessed in terms of constantly stood on the sideline, I think I have to draw a line there. But it's like I love now and again getting involved in, I love training. I love sessions when, the vibe's good, when people are on it, and, I love that. But from a coaching standpoint, I don't think I'd be able to do it. But then, like you say, watching a lot more football now and having to lock in a bit more and watch it in more detail, if you like, when as you do when you're commentating, because you have to be thinking constantly about, right, he's passed it to him, so that means he's moving over here. Whereas normally if you're watching it on the side, you're just going, oh, can we just get it in the net? So I think it has helped me. Probably. I mean, my manager might not say that for Llandudno, but um, but I think it has. And this summer and last few months, I've been doing a lot of well, not too many, but a few one-to-one sessions as well. So that's been really helpful. Again, not.
Oh,
Oh
we've lost Mia.
no.
Oh, Mia's
Oh,
gone on strike.
she
Oh,
muted herself.
did
There
I
we go.
mute?
Pre-season. Yeah, we're back.
Yeah. All right, we're back. Yeah, so I've been doing like a few one-to-one sessions, and that's not just helped me in terms of my footballing stuff, but also, I've been doing a lot more on focusing in depth in technique, and that's given me more knowledge. If I see now, say, Max Cleworth strike a ball, I'll go, right, he's planted his foot too close, that's why it's not work, stuff like that. So that's, it all really helps, and that's just what I'm trying to do is, build that knowledge, and hopefully that relays itself, in the comms and also on the pitch for me as well.
I would literally pay $1 million to the club to witness you go full parky in a change room. That would literally be the best thing ever.
Well, it sounds like an idea for Matchday Live. I'll have to pitch it. Um, yeah, who knows?
Would you have a plonker test? Would there be a Mia's plonkers test that your players would
Um,
have to pass?
yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm probably a bit calmer than Bill Parkinson's enthusiasm, and I'd like to think my language is a bit better. But and then again, I don't know. When I'm losing, I'm quite angry. So saying that, maybe not. But yeah, listen. I love the whole character testing because I think that's something that has really relayed itself onto our success as well. In not just in terms of on pitch, but also off pitch. The way the players, when they come in to games or from training, they're always around, and they're always accessible to fans and
Yeah.
whoever wants to get a photo, wants to get an autograph. And I just think that's brilliant because I think that's what this club should be all about. It's first and for its first thought and feeling should always be towards the fans, because without the fans it wouldn't be here. And that's not just a motto or whatever, that is reality. That is history. So yeah, and I probably would have something similar, but then again, if I was managing a team and I had a striker who was scoring 50 a year but was a bit of an idiot off the pitch, I'd probably allow it. So
Ah, awesome, awesome. Well, I know you're a bit short on time, so we'll let you get going about your day. And really, we've got to do this again. We need to
yes,
get you
yes,
on, give you a full solid hour and a half, just deep dive. I reckon that'll be awesome at some point.
yeah, no, thank you.
But quickly,
Thank you.
very quickly, what is give us? Do you want to give a prediction for this season? Because we're going into our
Ooh.
prediction week. We're going to be doing a full
Right,
prediction
Give
okay,
us a number.
episode. I would
Mhm.
like to know what you think is
okay.
going to happen.
All right, I'm gonna go 10th, and I'm gonna say that. Oh.
Cup run.
I'm gonna go 10th, and yeah, I think we're gonna get um a good draw. I think we're gonna beat Hull in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday. This is all gonna be wrong now, but I think we're gonna beat Hull, and I think we're gonna get a Premier League side, and I think we're gonna beat them. That's gonna be my prediction, and
Mm.
I think Connor Cody's gonna score at least 6 goals.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
just I'm just
All
manifesting.
right.
I'm just
Okay.
manifesting it.
I mean,
So
I like Connor Cody. I think I love the way he talks. He's a good
Yes.
charismatic
Isn't he?
person.
yeah,
Mm.
brilliant signing.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, just yeah, he's
Corners,
got a long way
corners.
to run down the field, but I
Yeah.
think you might be onto something there. 10 goals. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a defender for Wrexham scored 10 goals in a season.
Mm.
So, yeah, awesome.
Good
Well,
luck this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
No, what's this afternoon? What have I missed out on?
Glenn, didn't I?
Oh
Yeah, I've
yes.
got just a friendly, so just
Ah,
first 90 minutes in a while, so should be
ah,
fun.
just line up someone's cheeks and just put the laces through it, right? Just put the
No reds
laces
in.
through it. Give them a
Get a red.
good red raw one, and be good. I'll be cheering you on, Mia.
No,
That's
thank you.
awesome. And guys, just after the break, we will wrap things up for this episode. This is Mia Roberts, Simon, Rousey. You know who we all are. We're looking forward to the season upcoming, and yeah, we will see you guys after the break. Thank you, Mia.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, nah. This is Rousey's Wrexham Roundup. She'll be right, mate. Alrighty then. That was Mia. Simon, mate. Thank you for
That was a
setting that up.
blast. That was a fun.
That was a fun one. She can
Yeah.
I can talk to her all day long about football, I reckon.
Yeah. I think she's going to go places in commentary.
I think she's going to go places in general in the world of football.
Yeah.
Whether it be on the field or off the field, I think there's a big future ahead for her. So I think it's going to be worth, for those of you that are interested, just give her a like and a follow and just see where she ends up because I think she's going places, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Very well spoken, very well spoken. Um, and for those that are interested, the huntsman's disappeared, and I don't know where the hell it's gone. And I'm free.
We better wrap this up quickly while Rousey's still alive, still with us.
Oh well, you only live once. If he's gonna bury his fangs into me, at least it's a huntsman and not a redback. So yeah, those things are nasty. But hey, we've got the start of the season now. Coming up, Southampton, and just like always, we got to give our predictions for the Southampton game. What are we looking at here? Do you reckon, Simon? You can go first. You set up that interview. You let us know what you see happening this weekend and give us your prediction.
Southampton won, Wrexham won even more. They got two. So Wrexham won, Southampton lost 2-1.
2-1 to Wrexham.
2-1 to Wrexham. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Do you reckon it's going to be we're going to come out and make a statement?
I think we are. I think it doesn't look like Broadhead's coming, but I think we're going to make a statement. I think Kiefer Moore will start. I think he'll score. Windass will score. And Ward will keep not a clean sheet, but he'll let one in. But yeah, I reckon Ward will start in goal.
Better let one in than let one out. That's what I say. Oh dear. Well, 2-1. I like that prediction. I was actually thinking of going with something like a 2-1. Everyone goes, the 2-1 safe scoreline, all that sort of stuff. But you know what? It depends who's in goal. I'm almost tempted to go like a 0-0 draw, but I don't know. I mean, it depends because Arthur Conqueror's been a little bit shaky in goal. But he could come good. We could put Danny Ward in goal, and Danny Ward might, fight to keep his spot and then not and keep a clean sheet. So, and then on the other hand, I mean, you look at our scoring possibilities. Got a lot of them now.
Even with Smith
Um,
and Rodriguez injured, we have 3 or 4 strikers who can do the job.
yeah. I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw.
Okay.
I've never picked that one before. That's a scoreline I've never picked. I've
You've
picked
gone the
draws,
ballerina.
but not a 2-2 draw.
The 2-2. You've gone the 2-2.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go the 2-2. I'm going to go start of the season draw. Team coming up, team going down. Both, going to be fighting for the highest spots, I reckon, this season. Yeah, I'm going to go 2-2. 2-2 draw for this one. So, got a big week ahead of us, that's for sure, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Woo-hoo-wee.
Welcome
It's
back to the
happening.
championship.
It is happening. But that said, we've got our prediction episode coming up. So, guys, hang around for that one. That'll be coming up like later this week before the season starts. We will slip a sneaky one out there, just like we like to do. Just sneak one out. Um, and you'll see our predictions for what we think is going to happen this year. Now, I'm wondering. Let us know. Oh, actually. Should we do it? See, me and Adrian used to do it where we would have to agree, right? We would all have to agree in order for them to, but that ended up into like an hour and a half, hour 45 long episodes
No,
because we
no,
would
no,
be
no.
sitting there talking what everyone's doing. So, do you think we should probably just do this a different way or like both have our own little tables? What do you think?
You want a little bit of compromise and maybe a little bit of understanding and meshing between the two, but I think we'll just, yeah, come up with a bit of our own too, because I think we're probably similar for where we think Wrexham will be. We'll find out how we go, how we think the other teams will go. I think we can agree on number 24.
Whole city?
Oh, I would have gone them 23. I would have gone them 23 and Wednesday 24th. There you go. We're
Yeah.
arguing already. So, right. Rousey out. There we go.
Yep, that's right. I tell you what, yeah, I do. I think we of both agreements on that one. So let's see where that episode goes. It's going to be a nice little short, sharp episode, 15 minutes. If you're interested in our view, great. If you're not, oh well, shit happens.
It's only 15 minutes. Listen anyway. Send a like and a subscribe and
Yeah.
a notification and all that.
Yeah, I mean, after your moment of clarity, that's all you got to do. You know
And if
what I
you
mean.
really hate us, join up on Patreon and then you can tell us that you really hate us when you're a Patreon member. And then we'll
Oh,
have to listen to you
yeah.
more.
Be careful with that one though. They're loyal, those guys. Those Rousey's Rowdy Army, they will jump you. I've got a legitimate army building here. We're going to take over China. You watch.
What, these like the spider army you've got building behind you too, is it?
And my little minions, my little minions. But hey, that's a perfect segue for Rousey's Rowdy Army or the Rowdy Army. The Wrexham Roundup has a Patreon, and well, let's just say links will be in description down below. Multiple tiers gets you loads of good stuff, gets you shout outs on the podcast every single week, gets you discount off our merch store. And I tell you what, you got to be a part of the Patreon. Um, it's only going to cost you $5 a month. It's an absolute bargain, but you know, come along, join us. Simon's just joined us. Obviously, being a host of the channel, we're all in there. We all have some fun. We've got our own fantasy league as well. Your boy Rousey's leading it right now. Yeah.
I know. Close the season. Award the trophy.
Yeah, let's just end it right now,
End it
right?
now.
But hey, massive, massive week ahead.
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna have to roll with it. We're starting a new season, Simon. You're going to be jumping into the week on, week off schedule or with me or
Oh,
every single
Sunday,
week.
Sunday, Tuesday, Sunday, Tuesday. Up the no sleep on the East Coast, but 9:30 kickoff on Saturday. Got to be happy with
Yeah,
that. For
gotta be happy. A good decent time. 7:30 Perth time,
perfect.
Southampton. Did I end up giving my oh yeah, I did give my prediction, didn't I?
You went for
I
2-2.
have not been smoking the devil's lettuce yet. I need to get my mind sharp. But guys, we'll leave it here this week. We hope you enjoyed that interview with Mia. And Simon as well. I mean, he set this thing up. It was absolutely grateful that you reached out and did that, mate.
No problem.
And yeah, all links in the description down below. Even putting my email there, which is brave. I'm putting my email there if you guys want to reach out and just say
You
hello.
got a fax number as well. You're going to put down there and your pager details and
Pager. Showing your age there, mate. Far out. Just fax old Simon at the retirement age village.
Old
No,
fucker
wait, not
house.
even fax, his bloody carrier pigeon. Oh, jeez. Anyway, no, we love you, Simon. That was an awesome episode. And
Great one.
guys, next week we will enter into our usual week, every single week episode, and back to the original format of previewing and reviewing games and
Back to the championship format. That's where we're going.
championship format.
Championship
Yeah, we're going
format.
to be competing with some big ass bloody what should we call it? Some good proper influences in the championship.
Oh,
Yeah. I almost had one. I almost was able to get one on the podcast, but then that fell through. So I'm depressed. So head on over and give Matt SB some shit and say, get on Rousey's podcast. Because he was going to, but then it's just kind of fell through and I can't get a hold of him now. But I'm still there. We still chat. It may still happen. We'll see. Anyway, stormy night here in Perth, WA. Probably a cold night over in Tasmania.
yes, yeah. But spider free. I have no huntsman crawling up my legs and no thunderstorm above my head. So
Still don't know where that guy is, eh? He's gone. He's fucking
you
gone.
hope. You hope.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much. That is all for the Wrexham Roundup this week. And yes, I'm going to be calling it the Wrexham Roundup or referring to the Wrexham Roundup. Logo is going to stay the same, but it's going to be the Wrexham Roundup. We'll see you next week on the Wrexham Roundup. Bye.